Hey, what's up, everybody? Jed Johnson here from dieselcrew.com. Of course, you know they call me Napalm. And I'm covering video number 2 today in the 31 days of Q&A. And first off, an apology. I have developed a sinus infection, first one in probably 3 or 4 years that I recall. And I think I might actually be a little bit hungover too, because I had a few beers last night. Really didn't sleep that great because of my sinuses. And I think that combination turned into a hangover because my head is freaking splitting. The question that I'm answering today is, when should you use straps in your training? And I've got a whole sheet of notes here, and hopefully today I remember to go, note by note. So what this is going to come down to is, what is your goal? What is the goal that you're trying to get out of the movement? All right. Now, before we get into this, make sure you go into the description box and check out the links. Lots of ways for you to support the channel and my business in the description box. The product that is sponsoring this video today is Yoketober 2024. So that's going to be the first link. But I have an entire store of about 50 products that you can check out. I also provide programming and coaching services as well as coaching calls. So when you go to the store, you can sign up for a coaching call. We'll get on the phone. We can talk about whatever you want to. For the programming stuff, that is based entirely on your goals, and we'll set up weekly updated training plans, and we'll get you going in the right direction. So with the new year coming around, be a real good idea for you to jump on that. So what is the goal of the exercise that you're doing? So I've got 4 main goals that you might be doing on any given exercise. So are you building strength with the movement? And when I say this, are you looking for body strength on the movement? Because in order to build strength, you need to use heavy loads that will stimulate the body. Are you trying to build muscle with the movement? In these cases, you're going to use moderate to heavy loads in order to stimulate the body. And in both of those cases, if your grip is not on par with the body part that you're trying to test, then your grip will limit the development that you're able to see in that movement. Now, maybe you're trying to improve technique on the movement. In this case, you're probably going to use lighter to moderate loads, and the grip will not be a factor in your ability to perform the movement. Or maybe you're trying to build actual grip strength with the movement. And in this case, you're going to use varying loads depending on what drill you're actually doing. That load will be accurate for building grip strength, but it's going to do very little for triggering body strength and building muscle. So those are some things that you have to take into consideration on whether or not this exercise is one where you should use straps or not. Now, I just want to throw out there that there's a difference between grip strength and training your forearms. So when we say grip strength, you're trying to make the muscles of the lower arm and hands exceptionally strong. If you're building forearms, you're trying to get the forearms bigger. And just because the forearms get bigger does not mean your grip strength is going to increase. And just because your grip strength goes up does not mean your forearms are going to grow. So if you just look at me, and I plan on measuring my forearms because I'm continually busted on about my forearm size. I do not train my forearms. I don't do any forearm training. I do grip training. And there's a huge difference. And if your goal is to build forearms, then deadlifts, pull downs, and all that stuff is not what you should be doing, right? You should be doing direct forearm work. I do no direct forearm work, almost zero. Okay? So you have to keep that in mind too, that the stuff that I'm going to talk about in this video, practically none of it is forearm bodybuilding work. Okay, so let's look at some exercises where sometimes when people use straps, people are like, oh, he's using straps. All right, so let's go with deadlifts. If you've watched my channel at all in the last 2 years, just about every single set that you've seen me do on deadlifts, I've been using straps. For a long time, I did not do that. I did all of my deadlift attempts without straps, double overhand. So you want to keep in mind, I cannot supinate. I cannot do that. I will tear a bicep, so I do not ever supinate on a deadlift. I've always gone double overhand. Now, my best double overhand is 545. My best overall, my lifetime best deadlift, 580. I never broke past 545 going double overhand. It's because my hands were not strong enough, and because every once in a while I'd take a grip and it would just be off 1/8 of an inch. Something wasn't locked in right. I didn't place my hand on there right, and because of that, I missed the lift. So I figure over the course of about from 2015 to 2022, I probably held myself back at least 20 pounds on the deadlift by constantly always training double overhand with no straps. Once I started doing my heavier pulls with straps, my deadlift has improved almost linearly using the conjugate method. So if you are not going to be a competitor in a powerlifting meet, I would just say use straps. Especially if your goal is to just pull big weights on deadlifts and test your back, hip, and core strength with deadlifts, then go ahead and use straps. If you're training for a grip contest and you think you're going to get something out of doing double overhand deadlifts, then don't bother with the straps, just do double overhand deadlifts. Let's not go too deep into that one though. The next one I highlighted is pull downs. I generally don't use straps on pull downs, but I think in my case, and I'm the exception to the rule, so you can't base your training around the exception to the rule. But because I've done so much grip training in 20 plus years, my hands are very strong, and on most pull down variations, I'm not sure what I would get out of using straps because I've almost never used straps on pull downs except for when my hand injury was really, really bothering me. So, I'm not someone that's used straps a lot on pull downs. However, like I said, most people are not me. And if you feel that grip being the limiting factor in the pull downs is causing you to sacrifice weight or sacrifice reps in the pull downs, then that is inhibiting your strength building and muscle building abilities. And you may want to use straps on those pull downs. Let's talk about dumbbell rows. There's lots of variations of dumbbell rows. And, you know, I have the loadable, plate loadable dumbbell handles that I can throw 150 pounds on there, and I can get pretty good range of motion out of those dumbbell rows without straps. But because it's that heavy, I would rather trigger strength and muscle development in my back. So I really haven't, in the last year or so, done many real heavy single arm dumbbell rows without straps. I usually go right to straps. And I'll throw in there that I use VersaGrips, and I will put in an Amazon link in the description box. I feel that for most training, VersaGrips is like, they're just about perfect. I absolutely love them. I've had them since they first came out back in the early 2000s. So get yourself a set of those. Now, every so often what we'll do is we'll do seal rows. on an incline bench. So you kind of lean into the bench and do your rows. And we don't necessarily go for a rep count goal per set. We're going to go for a total rep count goal over the course of multiple sets. So maybe 40 or 50 repetitions. In those cases, sometimes I use straps, sometimes I don't. It depends on how my hands are feeling, when my next grip workout is, etc., etc. But more often than not, I've got a grip workout the next day. So anything where it's going to tax my hands, I'm probably going to strap up. So on seal rows, a lot of times we'll use straps. Let's talk about shrugs. Your traps are extraordinarily strong. They can handle so much weight. Dumbbell shrugs, barbell shrugs. I have dumbbells going up to 150 pounds. I can easily do 30 reps. As long as my reps look like this, I can do 30 reps of shrugs with those 150s. Now let me ask you something. Does it make sense to do, if you're only going to get 5 effective reps out of one set, does it make sense to take the time to do 30 repetitions? I don't think so. So to me, I don't know when the last time was we did dumbbell shrugs, but it's been a long ass time. Instead, we've been doing other row variations to target the trap development. And that's why this video is sponsored by Yoketober 2024, because I think this year's Yoketober was the best example of how to build the upper back using row variations instead of relying on shrugs. Now, barbell shrugs, dude, I can shrug 405, I don't know, probably 10, 15 times double overhand. But do I do that anymore? No, because it stresses my hand out. So instead, I'll use straps and go much heavier. Because really, 405 ain't going to do anything for my traps. My trap development is going to probably go down if I limit myself at 405 on barbell shrugs. I'd much rather be up around like 545 or even 585, shrugging 6 to 8 reps with straps and really feeling that strain and that stimulus, than staying only with 405 double overhand and doing 8 to 10, and then my traps feel nothing. Okay? So you want to think about this as an efficiency aspect. So the time that you're investing in this exercise, how much are you going to get out of it as far as your muscle building if you're limiting your development by your grip strength capabilities? I'll also throw in pull-ups. I don't think I've ever had to terminate a set of pull-ups because of my grip strength. But again, I might be the exception to the rule there. I am 240 plus, so that's probably heavier than a lot of dudes that do a lot of pull-ups. Maybe the lighter dudes, their hands give out on pull-ups, and that's what stops their set. But honestly, I haven't done a set of pull-ups over like 12 reps, and I don't know how many years, because almost all of the pull-ups that I do are weighted pull-ups. So, and if I can get 5 reps on weighted pull-ups, I'm going to add more weight on the next set. That's just how I do it. And I don't use straps on those either, but maybe a lot of people, if they're going to add 45 pounds to their pull-up, their grip is going to give out. I don't know. So you may need to use straps there. But again, the emphasis is the strength building for the pulling muscles and the muscle building for the back. So you don't want to sacrifice those aspects because of the grip component. So by all means, use straps. In other words, when grip becomes the limiting factor, when your grip strength is limiting your ability to properly perform or even feel the exercise, then take that component out and use straps. Now, let's say you have an injury to your hand, like I've had it'll be 5 years in January. Or maybe something wrong with a finger or elbows. You don't want to miss a workout. You don't want to have to sacrifice one of these very valuable pulling days by skipping those exercises altogether. No, use straps, because sometimes with like an elbow injury, if you use straps, then the muscles don't have to co-contract to the same degree, and then you don't get the same kind of pain and aggravation in the elbow from your pulling movements like rows, pull downs, etc. And obviously, if the injury's in your hand and fingers, then the strap's going to alleviate that quite a bit as well. So if you've got an injury and someone's bagging on you because you're using straps, just let them know, go take a walk, pal, because you're doing something so that you can continue to train at a high level and stimulate your body for growth, and you don't want to deal with that injury. You don't want to sacrifice reps and weight on the machine because of an injury. Now let's change directions here, and the objective is to build grip strength. So maybe your hands are lacking strength, you're dropping your deadlifts, you've constantly got to terminate sets of pull-ups because your hands are fried, they're giving out on you. Then obviously you're not going to use straps. So if you're trying to build up your strength and endurance with your hands, then do your pulling movements without straps. And what that will do is it will improve your ability to grip the bar that you're using. So if it's a pull-up bar, pull-down bar, the handle on the dumbbell row, obviously these grips are very small, and the grip strength you're going to be building is very specific to that size of handle. But what's cool is your hand is wrapped around a pull-up bar, pull-down bar, dumbbell handle, which matches the size of a barbell very well. So you may be able to improve your grip strength for the deadlift in that way by focusing on getting as much work done without straps on those exercises. But again, because grip is becoming the limiting factor in those exercises, you're not going to see as much growth and strength development from those pull downs and other exercises. You want to think about it, grip strength is most efficiently improved through isolation. So you're going to choose, in most cases, a specific exercise to bring up some component of grip strength, whether it's crushing, supporting, or pinching. And that's why grip aficionados have tons of grippers, a variety of pinching implements, a variety of thick bar implements, different sizes, different shapes. They might roll, they might have curves to them, so they are a bit awkward. They're a bit tough to get a good grip on, and they build grip strength that way. With a grip-specific implement, you're building almost zero body strength or improving your aesthetics and building muscle with those implements, with very few exceptions. And you have to keep in mind that whenever the grip-focused component is being intensified, you're really focusing on bringing up the grip strength, then the stimulus for the body generally plummets, and you're not going to get the same benefits out of it. I don't care if you do pull downs for 20 repetitions. I mean, you're just not going to provide the same stimulus for your body if you're focusing on like 5 to 10 reps. Some other examples, like let's say you're switching out the implement and you do towel pull-ups instead of regular pull-ups. You're going to cut down your reps by probably 50 to 66%. You're going to do half or even a third of the reps that you would normally do on pull-ups because towel pull-ups are so much more challenging. You're going to build your grip strength better that way, but your back is not going to get the same intense stimulus. Let's say you do axle deadlifts, double overhand. That is going to dramatically reduce the amount of stimulus for your body. It's going to help you improve your grip strength, but you can't be, like, if you're a major, if you're looking to bring up your deadlift performance and you go and train axle deadlifts for 6 months, your hands might get a little stronger on the axle, but you go back to that barbell and you're probably going to see almost no improvement with your grip, and your body's going to feel weaker. So you really have to decide which master you're serving in these cases, because if you, it's really tough to train grip and body at the same time. So if we wrap all this up now, if your emphasis is to build strength and muscle, then especially on the work sets, you probably should be using straps. As I'm sitting here, you know, I'm thinking I want to try several weeks in a row where I do my pull downs with straps in any way that I can, because maybe I'll be able to pull extra weight for extra reps and trigger more growth. Anytime that the focus of the exercise becomes grip strength, or anytime grip strength becomes a more limiting factor, the exercise is going to be less efficient at promoting strength and muscle development. And if you want to bring up your grip strength, then focus on exercises that will build your grip strength. Make them accessories in your movement. Don't just change the primary exercise in your routine to a grip limited movement and make your gym lifts grip lifts, because your overall lifting, your overall strength is going to suffer. I hope that this has been clear. I've kind of come at it a few different ways, giving you some examples. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. If you found this video helpful, please give it one of these big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. I have more of these videos coming your way. And if you'd like to submit a question to be considered for the 31 days of Q&A, then please go ahead and do so. Thanks a lot. All the best in your training, everybody. Take care.